Mi gente, welcome to another Board Avengers episode. I'm Roberto. Welcome to the Board Avengers channel. If you haven't already, make sure to like and subscribe. It absolutely helps the channel out. So again, thank you for watching. And if you clicked on the title, you didn't come here to see big box games. No, you came here to see small box games. Let's dive right into some small box games. Personally, small box game is something it's super portable, right? You can bring it to the brewery, you can bring it to a brewery because, breweries are awesome. You can toss it in a backpack, you can toss it in a purse, you can toss it just somewhere. It's not going to take up too much space, and you can just bring it wherever you want to go to play a game. My pick for a small box game is Trails by Keymaster Games. In this game, you're a hiker, and you're hiking up and down a trailhead to trail end and back. So you're moving back and forth on this trail, and the trail consists of 5 different tiles. Once you're at the trail end tile, the sun starts to set, which means you flip one of the 5 tiles that you placed in the beginning of the game to the other side, allowing you to place on this tile for better resources. As you move up and down the trailhead, you'll encounter wildlife, you'll be taking photos, and with the resources that you'll find along the way, you'll be getting badges. Once that 5th tile is flipped, closest to the trailhead, the sun is set, and you move on to endgame scoring. And whoever has the most points at the end of that game wins. The other small box game I want to mention is Bandito. I've been absolutely loving this game. It's been played a ton. Bandito is a cooperative game for 2 to 4 players. You start out by placing the center tile, or a tile that could be in the center, who knows. Just put it in the middle of the table, and whether it's 5 or 6 routes out, there is like an easy versus a hard mode for Bandito. And it's just someone trying to escape jail. So that middle guy is trying to escape jail. So you and your team are trying to build a route system around while he's digging out. So you have to enclose him in a route system, and as you play the game, you can talk, you can have all sorts of open communication, you can have your cards laid out in front of you, but you play a card, you draw a card, and you're building out this really cool labyrinth for the robber to try to escape out of. But it's our job to enclose it. If we don't enclose it, the robber escapes and you lose the game. If you enclose him in, no matter how long that takes, if it's the entire deck or if it's within 7 or 8 cards, you win. Let's go around to some of the other board vendors to see what they chose for small box games.
Hello there, Roberto. When you posed this question about small box games, you might have expected that I would pick a Tiny Epic game, given that I've got 17 of them stacked up behind me right here, right? However, as much as I do love that series, I want to talk about another small box game that I'm just absolutely adored with, and that is Floriferous by Pencil First Games, designed by Steve Finn, Eduardo Baroff, and with art by Clementine Campardu. This is a fairly light but very pleasant game where you have flower cards that are laid out in a tableau in front of all players. You use your gardener meeple to place it on the card that you want to take, and you're trying to make sets of different flower types, different colors, and you're trying to get flowers that have different types of insects on them. You can see that there's a little bee on that card, and then there's a little moth on this one. They've also got butterflies and beetles, and you're trying to get different objectives. You can also pick objective cards as you go along. Instead of picking flowers, you can pick from the bottom. They have different objective cards. You get different points for cards of different colors, cards of different flower types, cards that have different bugs on them, etc. There's also group objectives that there's 3 out in each game, and depending on how early in the game you're able to achieve the objectives, either this is kind of matching bug types, this one has 2 different flower types and a bug. You get more points, 5 points if you get that in the first round, 3 points in the second, and 2 if you get it in the third. There are also these little stone tokens that get put out that you can collect that go out on the cards. if you get the most of them, you get the cup of tea at the end, which gives you an extra 2 points. And it's just a fun, pleasant little game. Beautiful on the table. The art is just stunning in this one. Simple set collection, but there's a bit of strategy in the objectives that you pick, whether you pick them early and try to achieve them, or you try to find objectives that fit what you've been collecting up to that point. And there's also a really stellar solo mode built into the box that's designed by Keith Mateka. You might know him from Role Player and some of the other games that he does with his main company, Thunderworks. And Keith has done a number of different solo designs for a number of Pencil First games, such as the Whatnot Cabinet and also Herbaceous, one of their more popular titles as well. So just love the whole line from Pencil First, but the latest one that they came out with, Floriferous, is just a really delightful, really wonderful small box game that I highly recommend.
Hello gamers, it's Professor Meg here, and boy do I have a small box game that I want to talk about. So this is Timeline. As you can see, I have a few. They also come in these awesome metal tins. But Timeline is a game that I bring everywhere. It's something that, again, it's in a metal tin, so I can just throw it in my bag. I don't have to worry about it. And wait until I tell you how to play this game. It's something that I think I forced everyone in my life to play. I want to say it's the first game I played with my in-laws, which introducing gaming to people who are new to me is usually really fun, and it's kind of tough to decide what game to show them and how it goes. So, oh my gosh, Timeline, let's talk about it. So I have a few different versions here, but this one's the diversity version. For example, other ones are Inventions, Americana, and Historical Events. The Americana one is fun because it's a very limited timeline once I explain this. But so, to play Timeline, you're going to have a deck of cards, and the cards are double-sided, and one side just has a picture and the name of something. And then the other side has the year it was invented, discovered, etc. So, for example, this is the compact disc, and I did just cheat and see it. I want to say it was like 1970s, but that's like easy to guess. 1979. So we'll say this one starts our timeline. So to start, you shuffle the deck, you deal cards to everyone depending on how many people are playing, the number changes. But then you start the timeline. So you'll put that card down in the center, 1979, the compact disc, and then you'll have your hand of cards. So let's see. I want to do this in a way where I don't know what they are, because trust me, I would need to know just by seeing it. There are not many I could guess. So an example is the invention of the flute. I feel like that has to be before the compact disc. So if it's my turn and it comes up to me, I'm going to take this invention of the flute and I'm going to put it in the timeline face down in front of the compact disc, because that's where I'm guessing that I'm going to go. I flip it over, negative 35,000 BC. So it goes there. And I was right. So that means I am now down one card. And this is kind of Uno rules where you want no cards left. You want to be right every single time you guess. If I had guessed wrong, if I thought that was after compact discs somehow, then I would have taken another card and I would still be at 4 cards to then play. So a few other examples is Les Mis. When Les Mis was written, I assume. I would go 1800s, which is easy right now because it's a very broad timeline. So I'll put that one there, and I am right, 1862. I only have 2 more guesses, and I think I might be able to do this. The bicycle. The bicycle has to be before Les Mis, again, so I feel like that's kind of easy. Let's see. 1817. Not as early as I would have thought. I feel like, is the bicycle hard to make? I don't know. And then the cinematograph. The cinematograph. You tell me. That has to be after Les Mis, right? Because they were writing plays, and that would be after that, but before the compact disc, because that only makes sense. 1895, Uno, I won. That is Timeline.
As requested, I've selected a small box game, and while there are so many small box games that I absolutely love, I decided to go with the small box game that actually packed a big experience. Now, we know that deck building is not only a great category and a great mechanic for games. However, they typically come in big boxes. Looking at Dominion, Clank, Dune Imperium, The Quest for El Dorado. I mean, there's so many, but generally they tend to be big boxes. Now, if you want all of the experience and all of the fun points of a deck builder, but you want it in a small box, I highly recommend Shards of Infinity. Oh, nope, it was right side up the first time. In Shards of Infinity, it's a pretty standard deck builder as far as things go, but there are a couple things that Shards of Infinity has done that I think fix a lot of the issues that the community might have with deck builders. As far as deck builders go, we know that deck building is a lot about building like synergies. It's about honing your deck into the right combination of cards so that every turn you're reliably getting a big swing at your opponent. Now, Shards of Infinity is a one-on-one player game, and so you're sitting down trying to destroy your opponent. So a couple things that people may have problems with in normal deck builders, I think are actually fixed with Shards of Infinity, which I love. This one does have a shifting market row, so when something's purchased, another one takes its place. Now, that oftentimes will lead to a stagnancy in the market because there are just some cards that people don't want. So really only 2 cards that people may want are being revealed each couple rounds. So what this does to eliminate that, and it's not in a weird clunky way, is what you can do is you can, without adding a card to your deck and thus messing up your ecosystem and watering down your synergies that you have going on, you can cast a lot of the cards in Shards of Infinity without actually adding them to your deck, which is brilliant. It does a couple things. One, it actually allows you to hit your synergies more often, because even if you didn't draw a card of the type needed to trigger all your synergies, it's likely that there's one in the market that you can quick cast for that turn. I say cast, I know that's a magic term. It's called quick play. If you quick play that card, then it will still trigger all of your synergies. The only issue is it doesn't go into your deck. So you have a decision to make, which it's a beautiful, beautiful decision. Do you add it to your deck and keep getting to use it and get that utility over and over? Or do you take the short-term benefit and really know that right now it's going to trigger this awesome turn, but I don't get to keep it around. It's going to go to the discard pile. Brilliant piece. The other piece is this idea of experience. So each player is honing a shard. The power of these shards increase as your experience increases. So each turn you can choose to spend some of your spending power, I don't even know what they call it in this, in order to gain experience with your shard. Now what this does is everybody in their deck has an infinity shard. If you can get up to 20 experience, then your infinity shard deals infinite damage. It's an instant win as long as you're at 20 experience and you've drawn your infinity shard. The other cool thing that it does, it powers up a lot of your other cards. So many cards are tiered based on your experience level with your shard. So there's this natural curve. As both players are upping their experience and getting more powerful, the game gets a lot more dangerous and a lot more hectic as bigger spells and things that you put into your deck early start to really pay off in the late game. So many good things about Shards of Infinity. If you like a head-to-head battle game, if you like deck builders, Shards of Infinity, in my opinion, is one of the better ones.
Hey guys, small box games. It was hard to narrow it down to 2, but we thought that would be fair. We didn't want a huge stack of games to talk about. So my first pick, and the first game I thought of when we were asked to pick a small box game, was Skull King from Grandpa Beck Games. This is a trick-taking game where there are 4 suits of cards, like a trick-taking game. One of the suits is always trump. And then on top of that, there's cards that always lose. There's cards that always win. There's pirate cards, right? There's cards that beat the pirates. There's all kinds of different cards. The cool thing about this game, though, the thing I really enjoy about it, is it's played over 10 rounds. And on each, the round number is the number of tricks that are going to get played. So that's how many cards are dealt out. And you have to bid before the round starts, but after looking at your hand, on how many tricks you think you're going to win.
Which is always really tricky.
Especially in those middle rounds, 6, 7, 8, and you're like, am I going to win 5? Am I going to win 0? Yeah, what do I got to do? That is the meat of this game, is the bidding and then playing the round, because you don't always want to win every trick.
No, so even, and you can go negative in this game, which I do a lot. But even if I'm doing horrible in this game, it is still so much fun to, say, I'm going to try to win 5 tricks. And you can see when that's slipping away from you and you're like, no. But it's so much fun to try to, go after people in it and try to make them mess up, but then you mess up. But it's just a great group game.
Absolutely. I mean, there's just enough there to make it an interesting trick-taking game on top of like normal standard 4 suits of cards, right? There's a couple of special abilities, but the meat of it, the fun, and where you start, kind of like giving each other a hard time is in that bidding phase, and you're trying to push people to, we do yo, ho, ho, and then you have to sort of like hold out what your bid is. Oh, I just want to play it right now talking about it. Yeah, I love Skull King.
And the game that I picked for small box games is The Game by Pandasaurus Games, which sounds really simple. It is really simple, but so much fun. I like it because you can play with anyone, someone who is a big time gamer, someone who's never played a game. You can chit chat during the whole game, and you're all working together. And I'm going to have you explain because I'm bad at explaining.
Well, that's actually not very hard with this game. I mean, I can teach you how to play the game right now. There's going to be 4 stacks of cards. 2 of them are going in ascending order from 1 up to 99, and 2 of them are going in descending order, starting at 99 and going down. You'll have a hand of cards, and everybody on their turn is forced to play 2 cards onto those stacks, going up or down. But you may not have the right cards to not ruin the stack, because they're continuing to go in ascending order as they go up or as they go down. The only way to go backwards is by 10s. So if there's a 36, you can play a 26 to go backwards and sort of reset a little bit.
Yeah.
Now there's a lot of table talk in this game.
But that's also one of the rules. You can't say exactly what you have. So you can't say, hey, I have a 20, nobody play higher on this one. Now you can say, hey, I would like you to stay away from that group, don't touch it, don't do that. But you can't say much.
This is the kind of game where I feel like the people at the table are what makes it fun. It's the perfect activity for a group you're super comfortable with and just want to hang out with and want to give people a hard time for things that they can't control. Why did you play that card? That was a terrible idea, when all their other card options were even worse.
Yeah.
But it's still their fault. They still screwed up.
So you probably don't want to play with him if that's the
No,
attitude.
I mean, the whole point is, this is a good way to have fun with each other.
I like it.
Me too.
What did you think? Did you like our picks? Did you not like our picks? What are some of your favorite small box games? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe. It really helps the channel out, helps us out, push out some more content. And until we do this again, happy gaming.